players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today we're going to rank the top 4 out of 5 games that Mindclash has currently in the market. Now you can ask me, hold on, what happened to the 5th game? So when I saw Astra, it's something that didn't really correspond with my taste in games. So just to be fair, I never tried it. So if you feel after this video that this is something that I should try, please let me know in the comments. So Mindclash is going to have a pretty big year now in 2023 because, first of all, towards the end of the year, they're going to announce their new Kickstarter of Perseverance Parts 3 and 4. And also we're going to have 2 games that we have a lot of fans waiting for, which are Septima and Voidfall. So let's jump directly into the first game, to number 4, and that is for me, Perseverance. Now usually when I'm doing a review or when I'm presenting a game, I like to have a short video that is running on the screen in order for you guys to see how does it look like, if it looks good or not, what is the size of it, the components, a turn sequence. But I gotta be honest with you guys, when I just started to think about unloading this game and setting it up on the table, I got really deflated. Like I got zero strength to do that, so I do apologize. I have it for all the other games, but not for Perseverance. And this is something that we're going to circle back a little bit further down the video when I will tell you my opinion of this game. So very quickly, the story behind this game, what happens is that this luxurious cruise ship is getting caught in some sort of a storm, and they're finding themselves on a mysterious island that has some danger in form of dinosaurs. And the different players are going to play different officers that are trying to gain influence on the other people, and also to build some settlements and to build, of course, barricades and to fight the dinosaurs that are coming to attack the camp. So let's dive in right away, shall we? All in all, we have here a good game, a decent experience. Now I know it's a little bit weird to start a review like this, but I really feel that these amazing creators created a very cool world over here. But, and this is a very big but, I think that there is a certain amount of time that us board gamers are willing to invest in setup, okay? Now, of course, it depends on what the game is giving you back. The more you're getting back from the game, the more you will be willing to invest in the setup because it's going to take time. And I think that at a certain point, if you find yourself not playing this game, or this game does not come enough to the table because you just don't have the strength to do a setup, I think it says a lot. And I played Perseverance, the first part maybe 2 times, and then in another occasion, of course, I played the second part another time, and then it just sat on my shelf. So it looks good, right? And the components look good and everything, but it was just too much for me, and there were other games in this genre, we can say, that I preferred playing, that their time of setup was much shorter. Also, let's talk about the production of this game. So the production level over here is amazing, okay? There is nothing I can say about it. We have here tons of minis, dinosaurs, and you have the small miniatures of camps, and there's a lot. But at some point, I think that this game was totally overproduced. Really, it was the first game. Usually I like to take the deluxe versions. I don't know, I'm guessing because we're eating with our eyes, you know, or something like that. We don't want the game to be beautiful and looks good. We want it to feel good when we're doing certain things on the table. I regret buying the deluxe version because I think the standees are totally okay. There's tons of miniatures, but really not in a pleasant way. This box is amazing. Like it's a little bit too big for me, you know? It's like a little bit like Jurassic Park and Gloomhaven had a baby together. There was never a situation that I used all the dinosaurs, even with 4 players. So I'm like, why do we have so many here for the off chance that maybe in one game or whatever we're going to miss one miniature of a dinosaur? Really unlikely for me. Also, the game experience itself. Because there's a lot of things that are going on here, we're going to try to have influence on the different people. We're going to have food, we're going to get soldiers, we're going to fight together, but not really together because this is a semi-cooperative game. You know, some games you just feel that you don't have enough time to do everything, which is okay because you really need to make your choices. But here, the game is finished and you're like, God damn it, I didn't do anything here. I was all over the place, but you cannot really not be all over the place because you need this in order to do that, and you need that in order to do this. At the end of the game, you just like being left with this dissatisfaction kind of feeling. And I'm thinking to myself, if after all the mother fluffing setup, I'm being left with not really good taste, and not to talk about continuing to the second part of the game, then for me, Perseverance is a game that probably will leave my collection. And on top of it, you have like 4 different rulebooks. One that is going to be only for part 1. And then you're going to have another one for part 2. You have the solo, then you have the chronicles, like some sort of way to do the whole story, you know, from part 1 to part 2. But this is not like really a narrative kind of game. This is not, I don't know, a Sleeping Gods. This is not Etherfields or whatever, that the story is really like important to do the 2-part. You finish the first part, most likely either you're going to stay with the same board and going to do it again, because in order to directly start with the second part, now you need to have another setup. You'll flip the board, you're going to use different rule book, you're going to have different components that comes in different trays. It's too much for me, guys. Number 3 on my list is Cerebria, the Inside World. So very quickly, the story behind it. We have 2 sides of players. One side of players will play the positive emotions. The other side is going to play a little bit more the negative emotions. And they're going to battle between themselves in order to control the human mind. Yes, it's a little bit like Inside Out, the movie, which is pretty cool. So just to tell you up ahead, the theme here is something that I really like. Now the players in their turn are going to do different actions like moving across the board. They're going to put some other feelings on it in order to control different areas. They're going to extract willpower, they're going to upgrade their characters and things like this in order to gain that control at the end of the game. So just like I say, I think the theme here is really incredible. I think the production over here is super good, although I don't really understand why the board is so freakishly huge. I found it, I don't know if it's really necessary, to be honest with you guys. Like the cards are like a little bit too big in my opinion, and really this game takes a lot of space. Not so sure that I understand why. But all in all, the production level here is amazing. The art is beautiful. I can tell you that that my girlfriend that hates, just absolutely hates competitive games. I know, it hurts for me also. This game she really likes because, you know, it's such a sweet kind of game, you know, with the miniatures that are super beautiful and the emotions that are so freakishly cute. So all in all, this game is almost like a feel-good game. You know, it is competitive, but you have such a good feeling when you actually play it. So also in Cerebria, we have a lot of things that are going on, but I found that the rules are really well written. You have, like, first of all, just to let you in the game, you have the basic game, and only after, when you feel a little bit more comfortable, you're going to add some more layers into it in order of the full game. And so it's pretty much Mindclash's way to really ease you into playing this game. Number 2 on my list is Anachrony. Now, what can I say about Anachrony that haven't been said before? Alright, so the story very quickly. Humanity very far into the future, apocalypse, impact, chaos, everything is destroyed. Then we discover some sort of a new element. Now we can fuck with time a little bit, we can time travel and go here and there and pass some resources or whatever. And different factions, my way is better than yours, let's fight about it. All jokes aside, Anachrony is an incredible worker placement game where we will just take our different workers and put them in different places, either to mine or to build different buildings or to take water, or really, so it's also like a resource management a little bit, and we have like this such cool minis. Oh my god, I love the minis. Just this moment when you put like this worker inside the miniature, which is really satisfying. And I think the story here is great. I think the way that the game looks is amazing. No, you don't really need the minis, they just look cool, but everything I miss this kind of games that the boards are just like normal size boards. Yeah, I think this game is like exactly 100% how it should be. There's going to be some twist. You have, even in the core box itself, you have different a little bit like modules. For example, only with the timeline until the impact, and after on one side it's like totally normal, and then on the other side you'll have some things that are going to change a little bit. So only the core game itself is super amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the different expansions. Obviously, as I guess that you already guessed, I have them all, and you'll be like, hey man, why didn't you get the big box? And I'm like, I haven't been into board games when Anachrony came out, so I missed all of that Kickstarter of like big box or whatever, because I don't see a reason right now to buy another box just for like 50 something euros with delivery. First expansion, the Fractures of Time, right over here. So obviously, if solo gaming is important for you, like it is important for me, this is obviously a mandatory, because unless you have like the first version of Anachrony, this one is the essential edition, which means that the solo mode is not included in it. In the first print, like in the first, when Anachrony as a game just came out, there was a solo mode in it, but later when they took out the essential edition, they took it out. To tell you that it's something that I appreciate, not so much, because it's like, guys, you already had it in there, like why didn't you take it out? It felt not so comfortable, but alright. So besides of that, you're going to have this game is going to be now larger, because besides the solo mode, we're going to have other different things that are going to pretty much enhance, and this is a very delicate word, the experience of the game. Let's continue to the two other expansions, which are the classic expansion. Then we're having the Future Imperfect, which is right over here. I gotta be honest with you guys. Can you decide on one, like a type of box, and just go with it? And more than that, I can tell you that for me, the core game of Anachrony is so goddamn good that the expansions, I feel like they're really sailing away with all the different modules. So yeah, I'm going to say to you now what I'm saying pretty much when I'm talking about every expansion. If Anachrony is something that is hitting your table every week, and at some point you're like, all right, I feel like I'm ready for something new, then yeah, be my guest and just add more things to it. To tell you that I'm recommending, leave alone the price, just like, I don't understand. I don't understand why I need like such a big box for something that can honestly can go inside of it for half the size of it. I don't know. It feels a little bit weird, and it's pretty much the same with the classic expansion. And moving on to the number one game, as you already guessed it, obviously because it's the last game that is left, and that is Trickerion. Guys, I don't know where to start. Right off the start, Trickerion is, in general, my favorite board game of all times. So I'm in love with this game. From the first moment I saw it, wow, just the theme is something that is so cool. The art of like this steampunk art in this Victorian period, with the illusionists. And very quickly, the story is that you have a great magician or illusionist that is like dead, and you're all fighting to see who will inherit him. So in this game, what we will do is we're like each player is going to start with a different specialty and going to choose like the first trick, and then you'll have to be in different places. This is a worker placement game, of course. So you'll have to go to different places either to get money, to learn more tricks, to get helpers. Then you'll go to the market to get the material that you need in order to construct your tricks in your workshop. And then you're going to put it in the theater. And at some point you're going to put like some tricks in different theaters, and you will perform. And for that you will receive different bonuses, depends on the day that you performed in. Even this game, you're having two sides for the board itself. On the first part, it's like without the dark alley expansion. I don't know if really to call it an expansion, but I feel that more like a Cerebria. It's just like, all right, let me ease you into the game, and then when you're ready for the full experience, just flip the board over and start working with the Dark Alley. Again, Trickerion, an amazing game. If I can have like two of the things, I don't know, that I didn't like so much. The first one, that is, look, in order to play Trickerion in a group and enjoy it, you all need to be pretty much in the same level. And why am I saying that? Because I find this game sometimes to be maybe a little bit too German, if you know what I mean. Because the slightest error that you're going to have in the first or second round are going to be extremely hard to repair at later phases. If you don't have enough, I don't know, money, for example, in the beginning to do, like to buy the different materials or whatever, or to pay to your workers, then you're in big problem. So in order for you to enjoy what's going on, you really need to be pretty much on the same level. The second thing that is like okay-ish for me and maybe not my best is the expansion, the big expansion that they have, which is the Academy of Daglar. Daglar? Did I say it right? Dalgard. Thanks, Dalgard. I appreciate it. Thank you, person that doesn't exist. So, the first expansion. For me, this expansion, again, if you're a solo player like me, then this expansion is mandatory because you have all the content that you need for a solo player only in this expansion. So obviously I got it, but I don't play with the real expansion that is over there. I'm playing just like the core game and the solo material. For me, in general, when I have an expansion to a game that I like, I want it not to completely change the game and feel like I'm all over the place. I want you to give me some things that will help me enhance the already experience that I'm having right now. This is a good experience. I don't need something completely new, and I felt that with the expansion they went a little bit too far. This is something that I'm repeating myself already like a few reviews. So some expansions I'm cool with, for example, if you'll see over here. By the way, again, no big box, obviously, for the same reasons, because this game is a little bit before my time going into board games. But I'm going to show you that the two other small expansions that there are, Dawn of New Technology and and the Duel of Magicians, everything I've put in one box. So it pretty much looks like this. I hope that you can see it good. So you have the big box and the small box, and everything is like really comfortably stays inside this box. So I don't even feel the need to have the big box. The Dawn of New Technology is super cool, again, because it just adds something to the already amazing base game. And of course the Duel it's the Dalgard's Gifts. I'm sorry. It's the Dalgard's Gifts. So you can have something that is going to add for the two-player experience, which is something that I find extremely cool, because sometimes you have games when you're like, okay, this is a solo to 4 players or something like that, and you have like, okay, let's play just 2 players, and something is like missing, you know? And I feel that with this expansion, they did really a cool mechanism that is keeping the game tight. If I can add one more thing about the solo mode over here, which I think that is really a challenge. I didn't say it about Anachrony. Anachrony also has a very challenging solo mode, but the thing is that with Trickerion, you really feel that you're playing against someone. And because there are, if I'm not mistaken, 3 levels of difficulty, then it really feels like you're playing against a real opponent with you understand, of course, at some point, like how he's going to play, or you can guess it or something like that. But still, the game really feels like that you're playing against a real opponent. I think the AI over there is pretty cool, and I enjoyed it a lot. I remember just a quick story that when I went to play with a couple of friends in Trickerion, you know, and I felt like I know this game well. So I came like with really with a lot of motivation and ambition to win this game, and I got annihilated, like really I got destroyed, and I got so motherfucking upset that it was crazy. And I came back and I'm like, all right, Trickerion, it's you and me right now. And I played, I think, the solo game maybe for I'm sorry, it's going to sound weird, like a week, but a week that's like the only thing that I did is like playing Trickerion like again and again, maybe 4 games per day. Well, what are you gonna do? You know, judge me. So anyways, so I did that, and then the next time, like I went after, I felt like a veteran, you know, I got my ranks and everything, and it looked different. Guys, if you've been watching so far, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. As always, if you learned something new, if you saw something that you like, please consider subscribing to my channel and help me grow this amazing community. I appreciate it a lot. Like and comment on the video. There is so much to comment on in this video. You know, I know that it was not like an in-depth review for each game, because I think each game here deserves at least a 20-25 minutes, you know, review, because there's a lot over here. But let me know, what do you feel that I skipped or missed and I should have talked about? What do you agree with? What you disagree with? Do you wait for Voidfall and Septima? Anyways, there's a lot. Take care and see you next time.